Hi, I'm Rebecca Rainier. Here's what's on the plate today. We're going to take your workout outside, some benefits of going out in the open air to work out. Also, we're going to show you two women who have lost a ton of weight through running, and we're going to do push-ups. Finally, just in case you totally hate this show, we're going to add some veggies. Stay with us.
It's like I'm seeing all the blue skies, and I'm walking on the edge tonight. It feels so right, and I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here, Rebecca Rainier.
Welcome to the program. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, it's probably warmer where you are. Spring has sprung. We want to talk about today a little bit getting outside for your workout and a man who has made it his business to go in the outdoors to get moving.
Started with, we're going to start with the right arm. It's going to be an arm curl with an Arnold press. Okay.
Dan Fitzer is a fitness trainer who was noticing a common complaint from his clients.
A lot of the people that come to me at the studio say, gee, it would be great if we could work out outside.
So Fitzer, or Fitz as he's known, created special equipment and classes for his training business. Fitness on the Move is taking the gym outside.
I think the true advantage, again, is that you get people outside, getting them excited about exercise. That's the key.
Fitz tailors the outdoor classes for any age and any fitness level, and his clients say it's re-energized their exercise.
Oh, it's beautiful outside. When I work out indoors, it's just kind of boring and you look at the same thing. I mean, look around us, we've got beautiful green trees and green grass and the air's so pure and fresh. It's invigorating.
But perhaps one of Fitz's most inspiring client is 86-year-old Shirley Kirshner. Here's how she describes fitness on the move and working out outdoors.
Well, this is a wonderful adventure. I like this. I think this is wonderful.
She says staying fit with Fitz helps her pursue her other interests.
It's that it's fun. It's not a chore. It's not drudgery. It's not something that I have to do. It's something I enjoy doing. So it's a difference in attitude.
And a difference in environment.
If you can keep their interest levels up, chances are they'll stick with their exercise program.
Isn't that awesome? It's a difference in attitude. She's 89 years old and she loves her outdoor workouts. Okay, so what I want to talk about now, the outdoors is great. A lot of things that you're avoiding right now, maybe in exercise, one of the chief things people avoid are push-ups. Oof, I know, I hate push-ups. They're really hard, but we're going to talk about why you should do push-ups. According to Live Strong, which is where I got some of this information, when you do push-ups, you increase your strength, obviously. They work all the muscles in your upper body if you do push-ups. I know you don't want to. Metabolism, another really important thing is your physical exertion forces your heart to work harder when you do one push-up, and this increases the amount of calories you're burning all day. I know, so you want to bump up your metabolism by doing a push-up. And even though we hate it, the third reason that you want to do a push-up is because when you can do 3 sets of 25 push-ups, you're BA. I'm not going to say what that is, but you are if you can do those push-ups. So we're going to bring Bill Decker in. He is a personal trainer, fitness expert. Good to see you, Bill. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, why should we, anybody can do push-ups, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm taking off my sexy shoes and putting on some tennis shoes because I can't do push-ups in these. I can only host a TV show in these. All right, so I want to do the perfect push-up. If I have never done a push-up, do I start with lady push-ups?
Well, what do you mean by lady push-ups?
Like with my bent knees, okay?
Well, I don't like to refer to it as lady push-ups because I think, I've seen a lot of women out there who can do push-ups better than most guys.
Right.
So I think
so what do you do?
starting with knee push-ups is the most beneficial.
Knee push-ups.
Yes.
Okay, so you show me what you mean.
Okay. So, wait till you get your shoes on here.
Okay, keep talking. It's TV.
Okay. So what you want to do is start, like I like to do a lot of yoga, so I think it's important to kind of start down in what they call the child pose here. And then from there, you can kind of get your form and just lean forward.
Okay.
Keeping your hips down. And your hands just above where your shoulders would be if you're a beginner.
Okay, that's the biggest question I have is where you put your hands.
Well, there's lots of different schools of thought on that. I think for beginners, the most important thing is to get them usually aligned with your shoulders.
Aligned with your shoulders.
Yep.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is take you back, your elbows back about a 30-degree angle backwards.
Okay.
Coming through there, then pushing through your chest and your shoulders, driving up.
Okay. All right, so now I have to try. I have to get in the right form, right? That is the knee push-up.
That's the knee push-up.
All right, so let's say I've graduated from that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And I want hands like this, right?
Hands like
Shoulders.
that. Let's start you leaning. Get your knees back a little bit.
Back.
Back a little
Okay.
bit here. Okay, now scoot your hands, just inch them a little bit forward like a little worm.
Okay.
Okay, now extend
Uh-huh.
your hips. Now bring your hips down. That's a big thing when people start to do push-ups,
Okay.
is that they start to get their
Can I
hips
move
and
my
their butt really high.
hands a little forward?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, there
yeah,
we
do
go.
what makes you comfortable.
That
That's the
makes
first
me
one.
more comfortable.
Align your finger
Uh-huh.
forward, okay? And keep the pressure
Okay. So they're pointing forward.
pointing forward. Yep.
Okay.
Keeping the pressure
Uh-huh.
on your palms and kind of equally distributed through your hands. Now
Okay.
from here, with your hips down,
Uh-huh.
elbows back, about that angle.
Oh, I can't do it.
No?
Okay, I gotta move up. Yeah, okay.
Elbows back there, and then pushing through your chest,
Okay.
going through there.
Okay.
Let's see you do it again. Right there, and push up.
Okay.
Yep, and you want to keep getting down where your arms are about parallel with the ground. You don't necessarily have to touch your chest to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But see, you're kind of feeling it already?
I'm feeling it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there you
Okay.
go.
But it kind of hurts my knees.
Yeah, well, you can always use a pad, a towel,
Okay.
or lots of different things.
All right, so let's say I graduate from my lady push-ups. I mean my knee push-ups,
Okay.
but I like calling them lady push-ups. Okay, so you show me the man push-ups.
Well, I think the best push-up comes from a guy named Mark Twight out in
Okay.
Salt Lake City. Now, I think the best one is to get right here with your feet slightly separated and your shoulders really arched over your hands and on your
Okay.
toes. And you're going to come down, bring your hands out, clap the ground, come up, and push back up. Because doing like that, you really can't cheat on them. Oftentimes, you'll see people do like this, or the arch one way or the other.
Right.
And that's not really beneficial. So what you want to do, feet slightly there, not so much here so you dip your butt, more here, down, push,
So every time you do that,
every time.
that's going to make it really hard.
Well, that's the point. If you want to do, quality over quantity. So you want
Okay.
to do, what's going to be the most beneficial for you.
Okay. So then you've also, how many should we start with? 3 good ones, 4 good ones?
I'd say go to max repetition of whatever your best quality is. When your quality starts to suffer and you lose the integrity of the movement, I'd say stop.
All right, so show me then what you've got a couple of, if we want to go to the next level.
Well, there's a couple different things here, and these are only for injuries, okay? So oftentimes people would do push-ups, and they don't do them because it hurts their elbows, their wrists, their joints, their back, whatever, okay? So you can use a different apparatus to do your push-ups on rather than just the floor, okay? So these are perfect push-ups. They're the name brand one. You can go these, you can go a knockoff brand, okay? And when you do these rotate, okay? So you can go from a neutral or a pronated grip, okay? And then you can go from here, you can twist them,
Okay.
push up, okay? Or you can start here, twist back. So that will take some pressure off your scaphoids and your metacarpals, all the little bones in your hands and everything. So that's one way you can do them to avoid pain through there and through the epicondyle in your elbow.
Right.
Okay, so that's one avenue. Another one, these are shark stands. Feel that, that's kind of padded and light.
Okay, right, soft.
So these are a little more comfortable to do as well. Now these, especially on a hardwood floor, you can do a little more horizontal abduction, okay? Which is what you usually do
That sounds
to,
kind of private.
that's what you really do to engage your pectoral muscles,
All
okay?
right.
So usually when people do push-ups, they think they're doing it because they're gonna work their chest. That's not necessarily true, okay? You're mainly working your shoulders, your triceps, and everything, okay?
All right.
But when you do a horizontal abduction, okay, you can come out, let's say here, start wide, and slippery, okay?
Right.
And move them in as you do your push-up and move them out, okay? So you can do that with a paper plate, carpet movers, lots of different things. These aren't necessarily made to do that with.
All right,
But-
so we're running out of time in the segment.
Okay.
We're gonna start with the knee push-ups. We should do 3 perfect ones. That should be our goal.
As many as you can do with perfect form, yes.
All right, and get up to 100 a day, and then we'll be Herschel Walker or look like you. Right? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, when we come back, we're gonna go from push-ups to running. I know, so fun! All right, we're all done with push-ups, so don't worry about it. We're talking about running now. We have 2 women whose transformations have been amazing, in part because of the amount of running they're doing. First off, I want to introduce you to Michelle Zepeda, the lovely lady in gray with the lovely necklace. Hi. And you might recognize Jennifer Wagner. She's the lovely lady in red with the red necklace. Both women have had a huge transformation. First off, I want to show you Michelle. I asked her to send me a before picture, and it's not easy, but this is Michelle before. And that was after which baby?
That was baby number 1.
Baby number
Yeah.
1. And you have lost how much weight since that picture?
Over 100 pounds.
Over 100
well,
pounds.
over 100 pounds, yeah. So,
Congratulations.
yeah,
Wow.
it's baby steps, you know? I mean, it really
is.
isn't that difficult if you take it, you know, like 20-pound increments or something like that at a time,
I take
you know?
it like a pound at a time. I do. I
Well,
get
that's where
daunted.
I'm at this point, because
Right.
I just have, you know, maybe like 10, 15 pounds I want to just, you know, finish losing, and it's just, this is the hardest. This is the hardest weight to lose right now, just that, you know, the last.
finish line.
Yeah, the finish line, exactly, so.
All right, and also we have Jennifer Wagner, who is an inspiration every time you show up anywhere on Facebook or here on the program. We've got a before picture of Jennifer, and you've also made a huge transformation. Jennifer, this is a little montage she gave me of before, and Jennifer after is 130 pounds lighter. Yeah, amazing. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and so you are now actually going to be a Weight Watcher leader. You've gone from one end to the other of the spectrum.
Yes.
So what we're talking about here, why I got you both here, is you both did this in the last week or so, the Glass City Half Marathon. How did you start running?
You know, after I had my first baby, I was nearing 300 pounds. I was a big girl, and I realized I had to do something about it. So I just started with walking. I started walking around my neighborhood. I'm like, you know what, this is something I can do. And then it eventually started going to walking and running, and then a little more running.
When you say just started going to running, though, I put on Facebook, why aren't you running? And I had 11, 12 responses saying, I hate it, hurts my joints, I don't want to, whatever. But so you're at your high weight and you're walking. When you that first faster step, did you do a minute? Did you, I mean,
Yeah,
how
I mean,
did you
what
start?
I did instead of time, because time for me goes so slow when you're working out. So what I did is I'm going to just try to make it to that tree. I'm going to make it to the house at the end of the block. And I just kept making, you know, my goals further and further until I actually ran around the block once, you know, I mean, just small goals. So, I mean,
and that was it, just
that
a little
was
bit
it,
at a
just
time.
a little bit at a time.
Run to this spot,
Yep.
run to that
Exactly,
spot.
exactly.
Why didn't you stay walking? What made you think, I am moving it to running?
I mean, I gained a lot of weight, so I, at one point, worked out a lot. You know, I worked out in college, I worked out in high school, and, you know, I knew that I wanted to be back to that place, and I knew I could do it, so.
You knew you could do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And same with you. You started walking. Was that the first thing?
Yes.
And you did it more in time increments, you were saying. The first time you ran, was it 1 minute of running or something you were looking at?
Yeah, I just kind of added a little bit at a time and just kept increasing the distance slowly.
When people say, and here you were doing a half marathon, you've both done full marathons, is that right? Or you've
I haven't done a full
You've
yet.
done half.
I was training for a
Lazy.
full.
You're so lazy, Jennifer. It's shameful. So you've done a half marathon.
Yes.
Only 13 measly miles. Easy.
That's the thing that's great about running is, yes, there's a winner of the marathon and there's a winner of the half marathon, but there's no losers.
There's no
Everyone
losers.
that finishes, everyone that just crosses that finish line, you won, you know?
And you were a wealth of information about some of the negatives of running when people put what stops them from running to the tree, you know, going from walking to running. The joint thing.
Yes.
Also, what's worse for your joints is the extra weight, not running.
Yes, I was reading that according to the CDC, 68% of the US population is overweight or obese. That is one of the highest risk factors for osteoarthritis, having the excess weight pressure on your joints. Every 10 pounds you lose, you take off 45 pounds of pressure on your joints, on your knees and stuff. So being obese was a higher risk factor for joint problems than running. And actually, there's a Stanford study that it was a longitudinal study over a 20-year period where they studied runners versus non-runners. And the runners were no more or less likely to have osteoarthritis and joint problems, and actually their cartilage was healthier.
Awesome. See, all the facts that you need right there. So for you, Jennifer, though, or for you, Michelle, are you going to keep doing marathon? I mean, you said you have 10 or 15 pounds. It's like marathon training is a whole nother level. And I mean, what do you think
It's a
will work
big
for, like-
commitment. I mean, when you're training for any half marathon, it's really a 12-week commitment that you're committing that you're going to be running, you know, 4 to 6 times a week. And every time I'm like, at the end of the training, I'm like, I am not going to do this again. This is my last race. I'm absolutely not going to do it again. And then you get in the race, and it's just such a blast, and you have so much fun, and there's so much support, you know, from the community and from your family, and you realize that you really did something great, and then you want to do another one. So I'm already looking into what is my next race going to be. And I told my husband, I said, I'm not going to do this again, you know. So
But already,
it's addicting.
it's addicting.
It really is.
So I would say there are some people that are natural runners that's just they do it the first time and go, oh, I love this, and some people that aren't. I am not a natural runner per se, but I will say it's easier for me to run than it is to do resistance training. And you were saying you love resistance training, and at first running was the more difficult thing.
Weightlifting is my thing that I'm good at, I enjoy. Running didn't start out as being enjoyable for me. I had to make up my mind that I wanted to do it and kind of push myself. And once I got past that hurdle, I got stronger and faster. I started breathing easier. It became easier. And I said, wow, I'm running. And that just made me excited that I could run. So I just kept at it, and it just got easier and easier. And then I found, oh, this is nice. It's enjoyable for me. And I really like running through like Wildwood and Sidecut, just being in nature. So it's really beautiful and makes it more enjoyable. And just running with other people and having conversations. It's like that social bonding time with other runners. And
It's just you've sort of grown into someone that loves it.
Yeah.
For you, you've always loved running?
No,
or
no, I was never a runner. The
Like, 'cause
most
some
I ran,
people say, I'm not a runner. And it's like, you don't know that you're not a runner.
Yeah, no, the most I've ever ran was that mile that we had to do for the President's Fitness Challenge in high school.
Which
I mean,
I
that's
totally
really
could
all I did. But
Nor
you know,
could I do the pull-ups.
somewhat, I read once, all you need to do is be able to run 3 miles, which for a lot of people, 3 miles is a lot. But you know, gradually, if you get up there, if you can run 3 miles, you can run a half marathon, you can run a marathon. That's really the base you need to step into training.
When the first time I remember running my first mile, like going a mile. Like that is a big thing. You feel like I can run a mile, and
that was a major accomplishment. I remember the day that I ran my first mile. It was like I had climbed a mountain.
And I remember not being able to run it. I remember thinking, okay, I ran half a mile. Okay, I'm going to walk again. I mean, it's because you know it does take some increments to get there.
And that's okay, even with these half marathons. My first half marathon, I ran and walked it. I did not run the whole thing. You know, it just wasn't until recently that I started running these things, you know, straight through without a problem. So it's okay. I mean, sign up for these races, challenge yourself, and you don't have to run the whole thing.
Do you zone out when you run? Think about other things?
Yeah, oh, you have to.
Like I said,
You
I'm
absolutely
on
have
Dancing
to.
with the Stars in my head when I'm running.
Yeah.
Maxine, call me. So what, I mean, do you think about the running or do you think about something else?
Well, when I'm in the parks, I actually look around a lot. And so I'm just observing the trees. I'm listening to the breeze. I'm just more in tune with the
Because
elements.
if you're running like this, well, okay, quarter more mile, that's not good.
No.
You need to get to that
No.
place that you're, oh, I just ran a quarter mile and didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And the race isn't the big thing, or the half marathon, or the marathon. It's the training, because you have to keep yourself occupied. There aren't people cheering you on or handing you water or energy bars or anything when you're training. So I'm always taking different routes. You know, I love to look at houses and landscape and see how people painted their house or, you know,
So
did their
that's how you
flowers.
keep
So
out of
I always
the-
try to make different routes, especially for my long runs, because when you're training, you have one long run a week that you have to get
Right,
to.
you get
so
your long weekend
yeah,
run in
yeah.
for the longer training. Okay, so if you've never run before, what would be the advice to the brand new, want to try running person?
My biggest thing is I think that people try to do too much too soon. You need to have, first you have to have good shoes that are properly fitted for your foot. Everyone has different arches, different widths.
Good shoes.
So you need to have good shoes. Start out slow. Start out at a pace where you can breathe comfortably. You can have a conversation. People think that they should be fast or something, and they
It's
push
not a
themselves
race
too hard,
to
and then they're like,
begin
oh, I can't breathe. This is hard.
Absolutely. And same thing for you? Good shoes?
Yeah, good shoes,
Start
and
slow?
just use an inspiration. You know, use a person as an inspiration for you. That's how I
Well,
started.
you guys are my inspiration for my run today. I swear I'm going to run today. All right, when we come back, we're going to push-ups, running, and now vegetables. It sounds like a punishment, but it's not. It's good for you, and it's fun. Stay with us. Welcome back. Did you know that May is Celiac Awareness Month? Did you know that, Nathan?
Yes.
All right. Tell us about it. Nathan Cadell, dietitian,
Yep.
is here. Registered dietitian? Is that what
ProMedica, yep.
There we go. Okay, so what is Celiac Awareness Month?
It's just to get people aware of the gluten issues with our society. Because a lot of times we have a misnomer of, well, is it a wheat allergy, or is it gluten intolerance, or is it celiac disease?
And celiac disease is diagnosable, and
yes.
okay, so to let people know that that's out there, and if they're having dietary issues, it's something that they should be checking.
Right, with their physician.
Okay, and because in honor of that, we're going to make something that's totally safe for someone who has celiac disease. Is that right?
Correct.
All right, Mr. Dietitian, what are we making?
All right. We're using Allen's vegetables here because they are priding themselves on getting the gluten out of their vegetable supply. A lot of their vegetables do not have gluten in, no MSG. So we're having a little bit of canola oil here.
All right.
And we're going to have to speed it up because we are on TV.
I know. So
we
you
would
got canola oil.
Heat that in a pan over medium heat. And then we have some Allen's sweet potatoes.
Those look good.
They are. I wish more people would eat sweet potatoes. They are very good for vitamin A.
Is there a lot of carbs in a sweet potato?
Yes, but don't get worried about carbohydrates. They aren't the enemy. A lot better than white bread.
Right.
Very good, packed with nutrition. So
All right.
I'll go with the sweet potatoes. You'd let these brown about 5-10 minutes or so. They would crystallize. The natural sugars would crystallize in there. Get crispy, which is a nice thing to add a little texture to the dish. Then we're using a little spice blend that I really have never used, but it's a Herbamare, sorry.
Herbamare.
Yeah, 2 tablespoons of that.
What is in Herbamare?
It's a sea salt and various herbal blend, parsley, garlic.
Do you believe in sea salt if you're going to do salt on your food, your famous sea salt?
I would not salt anything.
You would not salt anything, okay.
We consume way too much salt in our society anyways.
Because it's good.
Right, yes. But with sea salt, they have great marketing people because sea salt is still sodium chloride.
Okay.
So there's no big benefit there.
I feel like I'm healthier when I'm doing sea salt. That's the main thing I use to salt things. But I don't have blood pressure issues.
Well, that's the main
I do retain
thing.
a fair amount of water, however. So I should probably cut down on my salt.
But with sea salt, you do get some microminerals,
All right.
which are.
So you've seasoned that, and what else are we putting in this
Then
puppy?
we have a little bit of cinnamon, which is
I love too.
and it's a very unique thing because a lot of times you put nutmeg and cinnamon with sweet potatoes, but then we're adding some garlic, minced garlic.
Hold the phone. Okay.
And then again, we'd have this all crystallized. About 10 minutes for that. Let that sit and absorb.
Right.
Then we have some Allen's Southern Style collard greens.
See, collard greens. I know a collard green expert I'm going to bring on the show. She makes everything with it.
Oh, yeah?
She loves it.
Excellent. Dark greens.
We often ignore the collard green.
Yes, we do.
It's not nice.
No, we don't. We ignore dark greens as a whole.
It's not easy being dark green.
Very good for you, though, also.
Thanks, I'll take that.
Mix that up.
It looks beautiful so far.
Yeah. And
Look at that above cam. You got green and orange and
actually,
this color, whatever.
after the running that you just had,
Yes.
this would be actually a pretty good dish.
Okay.
You have the sweet potatoes that would replace the carbohydrates. Have a little bit of protein, dairy, a little cheese or something. Excellent to replenish your muscle tissue. Then we have some lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
And some agave nectar.
I just bought agave nectar. It's my new favorite thing in the world. Is it blue agave? Is it gold agave?
This is golden, I believe.
Golden agave.
Yes.
See, it doesn't really matter though, right?
No. Agave.
Don't get hung up on that. If you go to buy agave, just buy agave. It doesn't matter what
Correct.
the different. Okay.
Yeah. And everyone asks me always, is agave nectar, honey better than regular sugar? Our body sees them all the same. They process them roughly all the same, high fructose corn syrup, all the same like that. But with agave, it is a slower digesting carbohydrate.
It's a lower glycemic impact on your body if
Correct.
you do agave. Patting myself on the back for knowing
You could
that.
become a dietitian.
I except for the school part.
Oh,
Blah.
So then you'd have this dish, let it cook for another 2 minutes.
And-
Everything would warm up,
All
be
right.
delicious. But it's a great gluten-free for Celiac Awareness Month. Allen's Vegetables, all these are different brands from Allen's.
Okay.
So.
And we're going to have this recipe on 13abc.com/full-plate. You can also check us out on Facebook, Rainier Full Plate, and on Twitter, Laugh It Off. Again, we'll have this recipe.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Good work. We're going to try it in just a minute here. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for watching.